It's 5 p.m. on a stressful Tuesday. You know the drill. You've held it together all day, just smiling through gritted teeth, right?
Yeah.
And then someone leaves a dirty coffee mug on the counter, and your patience just completely snaps. We have all been there.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone has a dirty coffee mug breaking point.
Right. So, okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into excerpts from a text called The Conduit of Charity, Love is a Divine Flow. And the mission here is to figure out why trying so hard to be loving just leaves you completely exhausted.
Yeah, because, I mean, the argument here is that it's not actually that you're failing at being a loving person. It's that you are using the completely wrong mental metaphor for, how to generate that love. We all just kind of carry this quiet assumption that love begins with us.
Right, like it's just this sheer act of willpower. We walk around acting like we have this emotional reservoir or like a rechargeable battery or something.
Oh, definitely. The battery analogy is so accurate.
Yeah, we try to store up all this patience over the weekend and then distribute it out like very, very carefully throughout the week. But I mean, by Thursday, we are totally drained. And that's when you see compassion become highly selective. Like, I might have enough love for my dog right now, but absolutely none for my coworker.
Right, yeah. And what's fascinating here is that selective compassion is exactly what the text identifies as the source problem. The issue isn't a flaw in your character, it's just that the self on its own is limited.
We just run out.
Exactly, we run out. You're exhausting yourself trying to give what you haven't first received. I mean, sure, you can sustain that white-knuckle effort for a season, but mathematically, you just cannot produce an endless supply from a finite source. True charity, the kind that doesn't collapse under pressure or need reciprocation, it has to come from somewhere else.
So here's where it gets really interesting. The source material flips the script entirely and says charity doesn't function like a reservoir at all. It functions like a continuous flow.
Right.
Like it moves from God or the divine, which, you can think of conceptually as tapping into a profound source of goodwill that is much larger than your own ego, into you, through you, and then to others.
Yeah, it completely removes the burden of production from you.
Right, but I get the theory. But let's be real for a second. If someone cuts me off in traffic, I am not feeling a divine flow of goodwill. I'm just mad. If it's a flow, and this source is endless, why do we constantly feel so incredibly disconnected from it in those high-stress moments?
Well, that disconnect is the core of the issue, and the text points out that it's rarely a lack of desire to be a good person. It's actually internal resistance. Think of it like a kink in a garden hose.
Okay, a king toes. I like that.
Yeah, because the water pressure from the tap is infinite, right?
Right.
But if you are tightly gripping that hose or bending it or squeezing it shut, obviously nothing gets through to the garden.
So what is actually kinking the hose in our daily lives? Like, what are we doing to block it?
It gets surprisingly subtle, honestly. It's those quiet little justifications we make in our heads, like pride, thinking, I shouldn't have to respond nicely to this tone, or resentment, feeling like they don't deserve my patience after what they did, or even just fear and the need to be in control.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the classic I'm right, they're wrong mental loop. So every time I grip onto my need to be right, I'm literally pinching the hose.
You're pinching the hose, exactly. Your attention turns inward to defend yourself, and suddenly loving a person in front of you feels like this massive draining effort again.
Because the flow is blocked.
Right. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, because you've pinched the hose, you have to rethink your immediate reactions. You can't just jump directly from a triggering situation straight into a loving response. That skips a crucial step. You have to receive inwardly before you can give outwardly.
So what does this all mean for our daily reactions? Because practically, when my blood is boiling, how do I actually stop gripping the hose?
You just have to force a pause. Like, before you lash out, turn your attention inward. You ask yourself quietly, what am I holding on to right now? Is it an expectation, a hurt ego?
And by pausing and consciously identifying that blockage, like thinking, oh, I am holding on to my need to be right, you actually move out of your emotional fight or flight brain. You step back into your logical brain, and that literally clears the channel.
Exactly. You aren't forcing yourself to magically manufacture love in that moment. You're just recognizing the resentment and choosing to release your grip on it.
You unkink the hose so the goodwill can actually make it through.
Yeah.
That's so freeing.
It really changes everything. You realize you aren't meant to be the source of endless love, You're just a conduit. When you stop trying to force the behavior and instead focus on clearing the channel, love stops being this heavy burden you have to sustain. It actually becomes something that sustains you.
No more managing a depleted emotional battery. You're just part of the circuit. Which, actually, leaves me with a final thought to pass on to you. If you are simply the conduit for this divine flow of love, does the shape and history of your unique channel actually flavor that love as it pours out to the specific people in your life? Think about that next time you feel your internal reservoir running dry and you catch yourself trying to manufacture love from scratch.